Hello, Randy Hawthorne here with today's talk, and I have Ross Kimbarovsky with me. I told him I might stumble when we get into the recording, and I did, so we'll do that. So how are you today, Ross?
I'm doing great, Randy. Thanks for having me, and it's okay. As long as you get most of the letters of my last name right, it's fine.
I can spell it better than I can say it, that's for sure.
I can't spell it, so you're already doing better.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about some psychology, and we're going to be talking about marketing and branding and advertising. Those are some of my favorite topics. But before we jump into that stuff, Ross, tell me a little bit about your company and what you're up to.
Sure. So for over 12 years, crowdspring.com has had over 220,000 creatives helping nonprofits, entrepreneurs, businesses, and agencies with everything from logo design to website design, marketing materials, business cards, even product design, and naming businesses and organizations for every stage of that organization's growing business or a nonprofit's operations. And ultimately, we believe that great design doesn't have to cost tens of thousands of dollars, and you don't need to hire an agency for great design. So just to give you an idea, logo design projects on CrowdSpring start at $299, including all fees, and it's all custom design in a very different model where you pick from actual designs for your organization, not from among bids and proposals.
Yeah, I can't believe when you said that year, I was like, oh my goodness, you've been at it for this long. But having served on some nonprofit boards, we've used CrowdSpring to do some rebranding work or to do some design work here and there, and it's been a good experience on those boards that I've served on. So thank you for that, and thank you for giving folks the opportunity to have some great creative without necessarily all of the process.
And obviously our pleasure. We love helping nonprofits. One small plug. So most of our nonprofits post regular projects, but since we launched, we created a program called Give Back, where we actually pick a nonprofit every month and give them a free project, whether it's a naming project or a logo design or web design, whatever they need. And you can find out more about that program by going to crowdspring.com/give-back. Details and a way to apply for a free design or naming projects are right there.
Awesome. Well, let's jump into to a little bit of the meat of this today that we were going to talk about, and we're going to talk about the psychology behind marketing a nonprofit. So you said there were two things, right?
Well, there are many principles of marketing psychology, and here's the thing: for-profit businesses, when you look at successful companies, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, they have not only smart marketers on their teams, but psychologists who understand human behavior and how to sell and market to people. Nonprofits and smaller businesses don't have those kinds of people, usually don't have access to those people because they cost a lot of money and they tend to be specialists. But, and this is for nonprofits in particular, you don't have to give up the knowledge that could help you improve your campaigns to solicit more donors and to solicit more volunteers, because there are key principles of cognitive behavior, the way that we are biased in how we react, that impact the way nonprofits can market. And I'll give you a few examples. One is called mere exposure theory. And this is a principle that repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity is good. So this comes from this notion years ago that you needed to have 7 impressions, generally, commercials, print advertising, magazine, so that a person can see a brand at least 7 times before they connect the brand to the product and say, you know what, I may want to buy this brand's products or services. Now, a brand is every touch point you have with your potential customers or your organizational members. And for nonprofits and for-profit companies, brand is the same. In other words, you need to have a brand. You need to have a brand identity, which is everything visual about your nonprofit. So this mere exposure theory that's been recognized for many, many decades is still true today. And what it says to nonprofits is it's not enough to have a single interaction with a donor or a single interaction with a volunteer. Just like for-profit companies, they need to see your organization in the community. They need to connect with your organization. That means you should obviously have a website that presents a nice, unique organizational structure, content, and explains your mission and what you're doing for the people that you help. You should also find ways to engage in the community, but that engagement should be as much actual as it is visual. In other words, for people to connect what you're doing to your brand identity, the visual branding has to be front and center. So your nonprofit name, your logo should be in front of them. If you are participating in a local event, or you're sponsoring an event, or you're putting on an event, make sure that you have signage, make sure you have T-shirts, make sure you have things that help people understand this is you and your brand. Because a single interaction for nonprofits is usually not enough. And yet most nonprofits, when you get to their website, have this big donate button, expecting that the person is just going to quickly start donating money. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I always tell people that if you're sick of it, then your audience is finally picking up on it. Because we see our stuff all the time when we're in our office, right? And we think that people are taking in our stuff holistically, just like we see it. And the truth of the matter is, they might see only parts of the things that you're doing, and I've seen so many people say, "Well, I'm tired of this. We've been doing this for a year," and it's like, no, that's the exact time where you just got to keep hitting that message the same way. So I really appreciate you saying that, Ross, and I really appreciate you being here today. And taking the time to be on today's talk. If you want to be featured on today's talk, hit us up on Facebook, and we'll certainly do that. We talk to nonprofit professionals about their success stories and their challenges. So thanks, and go out and do good.